I shouldn't be surprised by this because they're building up to a 2-night takeover for the first time ever, but there was a little bit of everything on this show. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your March 17th, 2021 NXT review. Hope you're having a good week. We're coming off the back of a really awesome week. Last week, we even had the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions on here at some point later on in the night that we're going to talk about later. I can't believe, coming off the back of last week, how people scraped and clawed to find a reason for everything that happened last week being bad. The NXT Women's division has more of a tag team division than the main roster does. Them having their own tag team title belts means there's no main roster interference, and the right team won. Yes, I'm biased and I don't care. But, yeah. Really weird how much outpouring of negativity there was when, if you went back 2 weeks, everybody, including myself and people like my buddy Jake DeMarco, who did a whole thing on the NXT Women's division, said the best thing to do would be to bring those titles to NXT to save them like they saved the Cruiserweight Championship and make them the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. And they basically did that and didn't bring any of the bad legacy of the original titles to NXT. You know, Sasha Banks and Bayley being prime examples. But anyways, it is what it is. That was last week. This is this week. So let's get into the house cleaning. Let's get into the show. It's going to be a good time. If you haven't noticed, Kristen and I are on a bit of a break from doing Flicks Fix. We will not be back until the weekend after episode 2 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'll be perfectly honest with you. We are doing the every other week plan with the Disney Plus shows. B, my weekend this weekend is jacked because I'm doing overtime this weekend at work, not that any of you care. We are starting the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and those episodes are apparently longer than the WandaVision ones were. And if you've been living under a rock, the Snyder Cut is also dropping tail end of this week, and it's apparently 4.5 hours long. So throw all that together, plus potentially I'm trying to squeeze in a Fastlane preview with Jake and or Guapo. That might be coming down the pipe. So yeah, Flicks Fix is on a break. We will be back, as I say, the Monday or Tuesday after episode 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which already looks awesome. Let's be real for a second. As I said, hopefully going to sit down with Jake and Guapo tomorrow and talk about the absolutely disposable pay-per-view that is Fastlane. We already have the next topical series coming up with myself and Jake. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I will tell you that the last time we did a topical video series, we did the 3-part series on the NXT Women's Division. Guapo and I did the 2-part series on the Tag Team Division of AEW. Now, Jake and I, we do NXT. Jake and I, other than the Women's Division, are very high on another division in NXT, and if you've been paying attention, you'll know what I'm talking about. So that's coming down the pipe as well. Something I'm doing solo, something I'm not quite ready to reveal just yet. There is another solo series that I am starting. The first episode of that, I hope, is going to drop the day of Stand and Deliver, day number 2, the Thursday. I don't know what the date is. But I'm going to be dropping that. I don't know whether I'm going to drop it as a premiere or just let it drop as a pod and let you guys grab it where it is. But there is one more surprise coming from the channel, one more series that I'm going to be doing. It is a solo. It's not a collaborative effort. It's nothing with Jake or Guapo or Kristen. I think they work with me enough. I think they're going to get sick of me if I ask them to do something new. But there is something else coming. Look for it. Like I said, day 2, the day of takeover that's actually taking place on the WWE Network / Peacock if you live in the city. It's really funny. It's never not going to be funny because I am a child and secretly inside I'm about 5 years old. To go from live on the WWE Network to live on Peacock, especially because I don't live there and I don't have to get Peacock and I still have the WWE Network. It's hilarious to me that they got bought out and we're still here. If if something like that does happen up here, like if Canadian Netflix buys the WWE network, I'm going to laugh my ass off. Yes, I am. That's a thing. So this is the part in my notes that says in very, very scratchy, scribbly letters, don't forget to plug the socials. So if you are watching me on YouTube right now, you see the pretty sexy face and the gimmick hat, you want to see me in an audio platform, you want to go to any of your favorite podcasting platform of choice and search Spaz Phoenix Podcast. If you're listening to me in audio right now on one of those platforms of choice and you want to see me in a video form and the pretty sexy face and the gimmick hat, you want to go to YouTube, search Spaz Phoenix. If you want to go to Twitter, find me at Spaz Phoenix and at Spaz Phoenix1, at Spaz Phoenix on Instagram, and Spaz Phoenix Podcast Facebook group on Facebook. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, I really, really do want you to throw a comment down in the comment section below, if for no other reason than YouTube can stop yelling at me that I don't have any interaction, even though I know my viewers are fucking awesome. Now let's start with the March the 17th episode of NXT. Plug the socials just keeps getting longer and longer and longer, doesn't it? Oh yes. Self-promotion is never mind. We start obviously with a recap of last week, BALOR versus Cole and all the fallout with Kyle O'Reilly and Karrion Kross and whatever. And we start with BALOR in the ring. And he says it's great to still be the NXT champ on St. Patrick's Day. So to anybody out there listening right now that is either Irish or being Irish for the day, because that's what St. Patrick's Day is, or anybody in Ireland that's watching me, throw it down in the comment section below if you're watching from Ireland. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. He starts running down all the list, including Kyle O'Reilly, including Pete Dunne, including Adam Cole, over and over and over again. And there's one more guy left. I've been waiting to face Kross, and time's up, and his time is going to be up at Stand and Deliver. And Kross comes out with Scarlett. He said, you know, this could never happen before. We both had separate issues to, I think he made some weird, like we both had separate crosses to bear or some bullshit. But basically, we both had other things going on that we had to settle. Here in NXT, they need to know who the real champ is, because let's be real, like, they don't hammer this home a lot, because I think it would be a really lame thing for a character like Karrion Kross to hammer in a whole lot, but he never lost his title. Now, they're not going to send him out there to be the guy, well, I never lost my title and I want a title shot. That's not going to work. But he didn't, so he's still a champ, and that's a theory or a theme that we're going to examine later on down in the night as well. Here in NXT, they need to know who the real champ is. You need to know who the real champ is. I need to know who the real champ is. And the world needs to know who the real champ is. And BALOR goes into full BALOR mode, and he says, everybody wants to be the champ until the actual champ arrives. You walk like a champ, you talk like a champ, but I am the champ, and you don't have what it takes, and you're going to hit the main event and choke. Scarlett's standing between the two of them, sort of like she's the third-party observer of this whole conversation, which is really cool. She does go off and ramble into a bit of stuff about tarot cards and how she had a vision of two great warriors draped in gold, and you know that stuff, you know, that those visions never happen for no reason. It gets a bit, I will say, I'm down for it. There's a lot of people that are going to say that part of the deal is pretty ridiculous, and I'm okay with that. Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan come out and cut a sort of a weird promo. They sort of address the two guys in the ring and say, well, you know, the real best wrestler isn't you, Kross, and it isn't you, BALOR. It's our friend Pete Dunne, who's not here, and we're going to big him up instead of bigging ourselves up, even though we're the champions. It was a little convoluted, and again, Scarlett goes into the whole everything happens for a reason. Why don't you guys put your title on the line against them? And points at Kross and BALOR. And it's one of those, okay, they're going to do the whole, the feuding parties have to team up for a night and see how it goes, and rah. And they say no until Scarlett sort of goes down and talks to them, and they grin like idiots. So either she's putting a spell on them, or she's hypnotizing them, or they're just horny. Okay? But we have a tag team title match for later on tonight. Now, I should say, much as I joke and use the continuous line that I've stolen profusely from What Culture, the ongoing global bastard is apparently running through the CWC again. I don't know whether that's true. It's in the dirt sheets, so people that hate WWE are obviously going to assume that it's true. If it is true, I'm not passing any judgment on anybody. I mean, AEW has big, massive crowds at their shows. Moving on. I do want to say, if anybody is suffering from it, I just want everybody to get better. I just want everybody to get back to the show. I want to get back to a show. I want all this bullshit to be over. I'm exhausted. I'm sure you guys are all exhausted and don't really want me to dwell on it. But if the rumors are true, and if there are people suffering in NXT or WWE or AEW right now, obviously I hope they're doing all right, but it also means that this show might have been written this afternoon. So this was a bit weird, and it was a bit cut and paste to get where we wanted to go, but we still got there in the end. We still got the announcement that these guys are going to be the main event at Stand and Deliver, which is... I'm going to say something here, right? We've been saying for a while, whether it's myself doing these shows, whether it's myself doing topical videos, whether it's me and Jake doing our collaborative stuff, or whether it's, you know, doing a preview for a takeover or whatever, we've been contemplating quite a while what the WrestleMania-esque takeover was going to look like. And what we're getting throughout the night tonight is a lot of what we thought it was going to be. And I see a lot of people on Twitter, and they're sort of putting out, oh, well, it's predictable, it's no fun, and whatever. Like, if you wanted it to be unpredictable, you wouldn't be sitting there picking it apart trying to figure out what they're going to do. We can't be the audience that does that and then gets upset when it happens. There's a couple matches either announced or hinted at in this show tonight that we're going to talk about, and they're all matches that we've talked about for a while, or at least a couple of weeks, if not going back longer, going back into further stories, etc. One of them is BALOR and KROSS. The minute that KROSS had to drop his title and the minute that BALOR picked it up, we've been saying, how long is it going to be till BALOR and KROSS get in the ring before the ongoing... Actually, well, it was during the ongoing Global Bastard, but we said, you know, I hope they save this for a time where there's actually a crowd, because just think about those two entrances alone, and obviously this match is going to be a lot more than those two entrances, but can you imagine if Karrion Kross and the big fire flame, and he's got the, you know, Scarlet, who's Khaleesi as fuck, with him, and then this is what brings back the Demon Finn Balor? That's an aesthetic, that's a marquee, that is a main event pay-per-view concern. And did we see it coming? Yes. Does that make it bad? Absolutely fucking not. And if you think it does, I don't know what to tell you. And I mean, I do know what to tell you, but it would probably get me kicked off YouTube. Lumis versus Austin Theory. Now, I'm going to say something really, really controversial here, because, you know, you're not allowed to like Austin Theory. Austin Theory deserves better than this. I will say. I like NXT. You guys have seen me go the roller coaster the past couple of weeks. Last week I was really, really high on, for obvious and personal and biased reasons. The week before, NXT shit the bed and I didn't even review it. So, while I am super high on NXT, and I admit my biases towards NXT, I will call out shit when it doesn't work. And Dexter Lumis doesn't work. And here's the controversial line of the night. Austin Theory deserves better. I think I said on Twitter, whenever Austin Theory, or, spoiler alert, Jordan Devlin, or Jackson Riker, or Riddle pop up along the screen, and you all get all triggly puff on Twitter, I want you to know, with absolutely all disrespect intended, I'm laughing at all of you. Because you all are the same people that still try to defend Velveteen Dream to me, and we actually know that he did shit. There you go. That's what that is. Lumis is a boring zombie, and he chokes out Theory, and I don't really want to talk about it, and I didn't even really take notes other than who win. Gargano gave Theory a pep talk over Skype from home and sort of left him to die, so he's kind of a dick, and that's just fine. Following up on last week's stuff with Ciampa and Thatcher and Imperium and all the weird implications that weren't ever really explained, Ciampa goes to find one of the interview girls. I think her name's something Mackenzie. I'm not sure, because I'm an asshole. Basically, he explains that Thatcher's missing. We need to find out what's happened to Thatcher. Imperium are going to find that their buddy Alexander Wolf is also missing tonight, and by the end of the night, there's only going to be one man standing. And if that doesn't lead us to the one of the surprises tonight, then I don't know what does. It was a little bit messy, though. It wasn't great. I like Ciampa. I like this, like, he's the crazy old man of the developmental brand. I think he's pulling it off really well, and he still is terrifying. Like, his mystique has been brought down a little bit. He's not exactly a main event concern right now at the moment. He's not in the world title picture along with guys like Cross and Balor and Dunn and Cole. But he's still terrifying. He's still the guy you wouldn't want to meet in a dark alley. But this promo wasn't particularly great. He spat out all the exposition that he needed to get out there, but it wasn't in any way that really made sense. And see, even though I love NXT, I can be unbiased and I can point out that this wasn't great. Those of you on the other side of the aisle could follow my example. Look at how wonderful the world could be. Adam Cole, baby, is in the ring. He talks about how last week Kyle made a huge mistake. He tries to explain that he was never mad at Kyle. He just didn't need him anymore. Kyle knows deep down inside, I know Kyle is deep down inside jealous of me. You just written your own death warrant by costing me a chance at the NXT Championship. And he says he's calling him out no matter the condition. William Regal keeps telling him that he's not in any condition to fight, that he's not medically cleared. I don't care. I want to fight anyway. Regal comes out, says, you know what you did last week. Kyle wasn't cleared before. He's definitely not cleared now, and now he's going to be out longer. He's not here. I've banned him from the arena. And then Kyle O'Reilly shows up on the sort of side Tron. I do the one benefit that they get, and they don't really utilize it at all in the Thunderdome, but they do utilize it in the CWC, is sort of blocking that digital crowd out and having a different focal point. It's not just coming up on the entryway like a normal regular wrestling show would. It gives it from a slightly different point of view. So it did almost have this effect like he was catching Adam like unawares. I don't know why I'm looking at my own hand, especially for those of you listening in audio. That doesn't make any sense. But it was a little bit different. It's hard to say because it's in a digital format, but it's almost like he snuck up on him a little bit. Basically, he says, I can't wait till I can get my hands on you. I can't wait till I end you. Cole jumps out of the ring, gets in Regal's face, tells him, whether you want me to or not, whether it's part of the show or not, I'm going to go find Kyle and I'm going to go deal with this, which is great. We see a long video package and replay of Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon winning the first ever championship match for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, which is really great. You see them celebrating in the back. You see them celebrating with the other superstars. You see Shotzi Blackheart celebrating with her dad, which is nice and heartwarming and whatever, and it's just good. And they're interviewed in the back, and Shotzi Blackheart, I wrote this down because I had to say it. A, she's got the green hair, so there's already the green aesthetic. B, it's St. Patrick's Day, so she's got the green aesthetic again. C, she's got a t-shirt on. It's not a wrestling t-shirt, it's just a t-shirt from the movie The Fly, which is how the fuck old now. And I love Shotzi Blackheart, if you haven't figured it out already. The Robert Stone brand, however, interrupt them. Aaliyah and Jesse Camilla and Robert Stone and said, seems to me that somebody said last week the champions need challengers. Why don't you go up against us, Roddy Rah. Those titles are going to look way better on us than they will on you, so the match is set up for next week. And then they finish it off by Shotzi Blackheart telling Robert Stone that his suit looks stupid. Which is great, because I think one of the most underrated feuds in NXT is Shotzi Blackheart and Robert Stone. Now, if we're going to get Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton at Fastlane, which we're not, let's be real, can we please get Shotzi Blackheart versus Robert Stone? Because I think that'd be great. In the back, in the CWC parking lot, Jordan Devlin arrives. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen now. Phantasma versus Breezango is a really, really fun match. But here's the problem. Here's the problem once again. We know that this match is happening because Legado del Fantasma is in it, and Escobar, who's the Cruiserweight champion, is in Legado del Fantasma, and it's a reason for him to be out there. Phantasma get the win with that ridiculous leg sweep enziguri combination thing that they do. The rest of the match is fine. I'm skipping to the point that it actually makes some sense, because Escobar doesn't just run and hightail it like a heel, like you normally would. He doesn't even grab a microphone. He grabs a headset off of somebody and starts yelling into like the little wire mic thing of the headset, like, "Where's this guy, Devlin? I don't see him. Where is he? He thinks I'm scared of him. Whatever. I don't see this guy. I've heard of this guy. I don't see this guy." And then out comes Devlin, who cuts a relatively short and a promo that just kind of made me smile. I love this, by the way. Everybody's like, "Oh, how's this gonna work? It's not gonna be it's gonna be heel versus heel. You can't do that." Let me just say, if we were somehow able to get Eddie Guerrero versus Ric Flair tomorrow, that would also be heel versus heel. It'd be dirtiest player in the game versus the guy that lies, cheats, and steals. And I'm sure it would be just fine. These guys will be just fine. Devlin says he's been running around, he's been watching you from the other side of the world, running around claiming all kinds of things, claiming to be all kinds of things. This is what a real champ looks like. I didn't jump you. I told you I was coming. I wanted to come face to face, and I want you to drop that replica championship, which is great. But then Escobar equally stands up, because his boys are about to run in and jump, and Escobar's like, no. He tells Mendoza and Wild to get out of the way. He's like, don't stay out of the ring. I got this. They go face to face. They do the face to face, belt to belt CM Punk John Cena thing in NXT form. And then he says, you know, why don't we do the Irish Ace versus Santos Escobar at Stand and Deliver? And that's gonna be fucking good, isn't it? Like, anytime there's title versus title, it's one thing. But anytime it's like you're trying to figure out who the real champion is. I mean, fuck. Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels with the 2 Intercontinental title belts hung above the ring at WrestleMania. CM Punk and John Cena is something I've talked about a lot on this channel. When you're trying to figure out when there's a disparity, and this disparity has existed for a year now. Now, they didn't plan this. The ongoing global bastard sort of handed us this situation. But, I mean, NXT UK started up again, and Devlin's been defending the belt. I haven't been following it because it's on at a really weird time for me, and there's a lot of other wrestling to watch, and it is absolute. When we're at this point in the COVID now situation, to go back to watching stuff with absolutely no crowd is just... It's not something I can invest in properly, which is terrible, and it's not something I want to review if I'm not excited about it, which is also terrible, because I missed out on that Walter versus Ilya Dragunov match last year based on that very thing. But anytime you create a disparity about, oh, there's 2, you know, who's the real champion? It's like Drew and Roman on the main roster, who's the real champion? No, there's 2 of them, so neither one of them is the real champion. Drew McIntyre did great things. Roman Reigns is doing great things right now, but neither one of them is the champion of WWE, because there's 2 of them. Now, in the Cruiserweight division on NXT, it's the exact same thing. We've had 2 floating NXT Cruiserweight Championship belts, and we're going to bring it back together. Only one of them is going to be real. I really hope it's a ladder match. I really do. I think I'm asking for too much there, because I think something else later on down the line is going to be some sort of massive, like, insane street fight type thing. But I really hope this is a ladder match, because just to mimic, like I say, to mimic the Shawn and Razor thing, to just put the 2 identical belts up in the air and let the, like, that could be so good. We're getting the match. The match is going to be fantastic, but just let me tell you, my own spin, my own purpose or whatever, there are people out there that are saying, oh, we've had too many ladder matches in the pandemic era. Fuck off, ladder matches are awesome, and they always win. And Devlin's great, even though we're not supposed to like him. We're not supposed to. We're not supposed to. The wrestling gods of social media have deemed that we're not supposed to like him. But you know what? Devlin's pretty fucking great. Escobar's pretty fucking great. And I do like the fact that while they're both heels, they both did the respectful thing. Like Devlin says it in his promo, I didn't jump you. I didn't show up randomly and surprise you. I told you last week I was coming. This is a face-to-face thing. Escobar responds in kind, tells his goons to stay outside the ring. Obviously, they've just had a match as well, but that's fine. Like, both of them, like, bad guys respect other bad guys. Like, that can be a thing. I'm an asshole, you're an asshole, let's see who's the better asshole. That's a story to tell. And anybody out there, oh, well, who we're supposed to cheer for? I'm like, cheer for both of them, because they're fucking awesome. You can cheer a bad guy. Like, that's a thing. You can definitely... If you tell me that you've ever been to a Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street and whatever, and you're cheering for, like, the babysitters, you're a liar. That's all there is. You are a liar. If you go and see Godzilla vs. Kong when it comes out in a couple weeks, and you tell me that you're really, really invested in Millie Bobby Brown's character, and that's why you've gone to see the movie, you're a liar. We cheer the monsters. Escobar is a pretty good monster. Devlin is a pretty good monster. If you guys have seen him over in NXT UK, he's pretty much a mini evil Finn Balor, which is great, because at some point, those 2 are going to clash, and that's going to be fantastic. This will be fantastic, and yes, as I've said before, when we talked about the Cruiserweight division and how NXT has saved the Cruiserweight division, Jake and I mentioned ad nauseum on podcasts, like, eventually we're going to have the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and it's going to be fucking awesome. And it's going to be the 2 guys that have carried those 2 respective belts since there's been 2 belts. This is good. I like it. Then we get a video package documenting, and it just starts off with, oh, like, the wonderful length and breadth of the NXT women's division. I'm like, okay, cool. We're gonna get a video package on just how awesome the NXT women's division is. I'm like, okay, guys, you could have just come to my channel. Me and Jake just knocked out 3 episodes of that. But no, it was to announce that Sarai is coming to NXT. Now, I don't know who Sarai is. I'm saying both because I don't know how it's pronounced. I heard it pronounced both ways in the video, so I don't know. I threw it out to a couple of my wrestling encyclopedias. They didn't really know anything either. But we've got a brand new talent named Sarai that's coming to NXT. And then we switch from there to somebody that's already debuted in NXT and they're already apparently incredibly high on, which is Zoe Stark. And Zoe Stark's taking on Dakota Kai. Now, Zoe Stark's second match in the company was against the champion. So if you don't see that they're strapping a rocket to this girl's back, then you're blind. I don't really know what to tell you. But taking on Dakota Kai, who was technically the first ever NXT Women's Tag Team Champion, even though it only lasted about an hour or so. And she's been in high-profile matches. She's had her feud with Tegan Nox. She's in sort of title-adjacent situations. So she's a main eventer in the women's division as far as I'm concerned. She'll be the champion eventually. Gonzalez is going to get it first, obviously. But we're going to talk about that later on as well. But Zoe Stark is just... She hasn't started with squash matches. She hasn't started with, jobber matches per se. She had her debut in the Mae Young Classic. She had her singles debut on NXT against somebody that I can't remember because I'm terrible. Then she took on the champion. Now she's taking on Dakota Kai. And she's on the climb. And I like her. I think she's really good. Now, we don't know much about her character. That can come later. But for right now, for somebody that I've only seen in 4 matches... I like what I see in the ring. Let's give me some character and whatever. It's still more than AEW. Moving on. Collar double tie-up and an arm drag and a mount by Kai. Kai works on the arms and Stark reverses into an overhead key lock. Can't read my writing because my writing's terrible and it's late. Side headlock by Stark and a series of snap arm drags. Stark knee drops onto the elbow joint and follows up by picking her up and dropping her again with a lariat. Hair takedown by Kai. Mounted strikes a hard Irish whip by Kai and a haluva kick. Body scissor by Kai, boot and an Irish whip, boot through the ropes, inside out, slingshot cross body by Stark as we go to the commercial break, neck vice by Kai as we come back from the commercial break, mounted punches and there was a double clothesline spot where they both drop in the center of the ring and they both sell it like death, which is awesome. Now, they both sell it like death, which is kind of impressive when you consider like how bulked up Zoe Stark is and how tiny Dakota Kai is, because they both sold for each other in very different ways, and the way they landed was really, really cool. Lariat by Stark, a boot and a half suplex and a running knee, a bicycle kick by Kai, a super kick by Stark, super kick out of mid-air by Kai as Stark goes for the dreaded top rope something, followed by a haluva kick, pinning reversal sequence to follow, and a knee strike by Stark, rolling fireman carry by Stark. She goes up to the top again. Enziguri gets caught by an Enziguri by Kai, who takes her right off the top turnbuckle, follows it up with the go-to kick, and Kai gets the win. While Kai is celebrating her win, Io Shirai comes out. And now this all ties together because Io Shirai has earned a respect for I have to stop saying Tony Stark. That's fucking terrible. She's earned a respect for Zoe Stark, which is great. So she's coming out to see how she's doing. She walks right by Dakota Kai, like stares right through her, has a contract in her hand and shoves it at Raquel Gonzalez and basically just says, sign it. And then she helps Stark to the back, which leads to another announcement we're going to get later on, which is fine. We get Zach Gibson and James Drake in the back cutting a promo like they usually do when they're on their way to the ring. But they are in front of, I swear to God, the most bright white background, and it looks really fucking weird. Anyways, Zach Gibson's hand is fucked up because of the space helmet smash thing that MSK did to him last week. So basically gives him the typical bad guy, you don't know what you've unleashed, rah. Big old threats to MSK. If these guys are going to have a match on TakeOver, like maybe night 1, and then the winner of that gets a tag team title shot, I'm perfectly okay with that. But like I say, really, really weird to take them out of the sort of entranceway promo and put it in a pre-tape with this really, really bizarre, bright, weird light behind them. It didn't look great. The production on that wasn't great. There were some fall downs. As I'm going to keep saying, the bad things are bad. They are. The bad things are really bad. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. The bad things are bad, and it's just the other stuff that's going on. Maybe watching some of the gears turn isn't always the most exciting thing in the world, but I am perpetually thinking forward to what we're getting at TakeOver, and I just... When I lose my train of thought, or if I look like I'm tripping over my words or whatever, it's just because I have to get through a little bit of the minutia, a little bit of the storytelling, a little bit of, ooh, I really, really like how they did that, and this show is going to be awesome. It is going to be weird. I'm going to say this. It is going to be weird watching TakeOver, because it's not like the two-night WrestleMania where it's just a pay-per-view and another pay-per-view. It's a pay-per-view where half of that pay-per-view is going to have commercials, which is weird because they're doing half on the USA Network because they have commitments to the USA Network. I guess I get that. But I don't know whether the idea is to convince people that are watching on the USA Network to buy Peacock so that they can see the second part of this show. That's not a horrible plan. It's a little conniving and a little... I'm sure somebody will come up with some words for it, but if somebody's watching this on the USA Network and they haven't bought the WWE Network by now, I really don't know what's going on. Anyways, so... we jump into the next match, and they don't really explain what's going on, because Imperium, Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner are making their way down to the ring, and they get jumped by Ciampa. And it's never really expressly said, because I thought, okay, Timothy Thatcher's not here, Ciampa's just going to take on both of these guys by themselves. He beats the fuck out of both of them. I can't speak. Marcel Barthel is in the ring. Fabian Eichner gets taken out on the outside, and apparently... this was supposed to be a one-on-one match, so Fabian Eichner was only going to be on the outside anyway. The actual match between Barthel and Ciampa is just the two of them kicking the shit out of each other. Ciampa nails him with a wicked Willow's Bell at the end to punctuate, like, okay, you're the third or fourth guy on the rung of this faction that's technically from another brand. You're going to lose to Ciampa. And then the Rachmaninoff, or whatever that piece of music is, lights down again, and I thought... I mean, we knew what was going to come eventually. I didn't know it was going to come tonight. I thought it was going to be, Alexander Wolf, who got beaten up earlier in the day, is back and he's going to get his revenge or whatever. No, we just skip right to the Michael Hamflett cosplayer that is Walter. And Walter comes down and Walter stares down Ciampa, and that's a minute. There you go. There's a match. You just do the stare down. It's like, do you remember, I don't remember whether it was the second or the third WrestleMania match they had, but that one... the one Triple H Undertaker match, and yes, I'm blowing it out of proportion, I'm exaggerating to make a point, deal with it. Undertaker's gonna make his big bad comeback on Raw. He finishes his entrance, doesn't even get to say a word, he's cut off by the DX music, and they just point, and that's all you need to do. Ciampa and Walter could have done that here. They had that moment, and then they broke it by Walter's goons sort of getting in on him, and they have a 3-on-1 beatdown that ends with that, the powerbomb that Walter does. Is absolutely, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look like he's trying to do a wrestling move. It just looks like he's throwing you through the floor. And that's what a powerbomb, I understand that sounds really dumb when I say it. But a powerbomb is a wrestling move that is done properly and is done in a way that looks great but doesn't really hurt anybody. That's a powerbomb. What Walter does is just throw you at the ground. And there's a difference. I don't know that I can probably properly articulate what I mean when I'm trying to describe that difference, but there's definitely a difference. We're going to get Walter versus Ciampa at TakeOver, aren't we? And that's going to be fucking great. Yeah, open up the world and see what starts coming in. I mean, obviously, AEW got Pac back. Yay! We got Walter and the Grizzled Young Veterans and Danny Burch and Jordan Devlin and apparently we're getting Sarai, who I don't know who that is yet, which is fine. Regal is outside, and he's basically been told by one of the announcers or one of the interview people that there's a commotion outside that he needs to go see. He goes out, and the guys, Kyle O'Reilly, it's tired in here. Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole are both being put into cop cars, and I'm thinking, okay, initially these guys were fighting in the streets and the cops had to stop or whatever. And then you hear you hear Cole say, Kyle tried to run me off the road. I'm like, that's a bit different. That's a little bit of a different spin. We haven't had that since Jeff Hardy and Sheamus and Elias and that story that never really made sense. But like they're getting arrested and they're being told to calm down, and Adam Cole saying, you know, I can't believe it's going to calm down, and I can't believe anybody's telling me to calm down, and all this. I will say, I should have said this earlier in the night when he was cutting his promo. I love, and it's just merch. It's just merch. He's just got a new T-shirt, whatever. But I like that the Adam Cole logo on his shirt is a blend of the A and the C, the same way that the Undisputed Era logo was a blend of all their initials. And now the Adam Cole, I think the Adam Cole shirt is set up as a mockery of the group. And I think I'm probably looking way too much into that. But if that's a little needle, if that's a little dig, it's a good one. And it is what it is. And the Kyle and Cole thing is going to happen at TakeOver. We just don't know what it's going to look like. And I will say, like I said last week, Kyle O'Reilly being his own guy. I mean, we saw Roderick Strong take on BALOR, and he's got different gear and different music, so whatever. I think he's going to wander off and do his own thing. Remember when the Shield split up, and what was it, Dean and Seth fought for a while, and then Roman just kind of wandered off and did his own thing. I think Roderick Strong is going to be the guy that just sort of wanders off and does his own thing while these two fight, which, again, and I hate to keep bringing this up because I know he's home for, like, safety reasons and whatnot, it really does make you wonder where Bobby Fish fits into the whole thing. But Kyle O'Reilly, his new version of himself, just looks like a reject from Raven's Flock. And if he's going to go down that route, that's okay. I just hope they realize that that's what they're doing. LA Knight makes his debut, and he makes his debut against August Gray because August Gray is a jobber. And we all know that this was just a debut so that he could come out and have friggin' what's his name? Can't think. It's fine. Bronson Reed. There we go. You guys are with me on a very, very tired night. If you're still listening at this point, I really do thank you. LA Knight versus August Gray. Boots and a beatdown and a choke on the ropes and a rising knee and a over-the-top rope tackle thing by Knight, followed by a front power slam. And then Reed shows up on the entranceway with LA Knight's blue leather jacket that he debuted in, and he starts trying to put it on. And it rips. And he sort of gets it over his shoulders and does like the big Hulk thing, like raise your shoulders, split the whole jacket. LA Knight freaks out. He says something like, do you know how long it's going to take me to get another one of those? And I don't think that came across the way they wanted it to, because they try to play him off like a hot shot. If you're going to try and play him off like a hot shot, play him off like a guy that can get another one of those next week. It was just a little bit weird. Gray tries to benefit from all this with a roll-up, some slaps, chops, a jawbreaker, and a neckbreaker, but some mounted punches by Knight, and I don't know what to call this. It's one of those situations where I'm going to tell you what it looked like, and you guys can tell me what it's called down in the box below if you know. He basically gets him in a stunner position and falls forward. And I think Dean Ambrose tried to do a similar thing John Moxley. I know, I'm not supposed to use his slave name, because WWE's terrible, and they have slaves. Fuck me. Anyways, do you remember the thing he tried to start using before he was using the Dirty Deeds? It looked a little bit like that. In the back, we're interviewing Gonzalez about her title shot next week, and basically, she's sort of acting like, with the clipboard in her hand, like she can get her hands on Shirai whenever she wants, and it's like, no, pretty sure if you open that up, it's a contract for TakeOver, because that's definitely when the match is happening. Dakota Kai comes to Gonzalez in the middle of the interview, basically says, I've talked to William Regal, we've got a tag match next week about against Io Shirai and her new friend. Gonzalez is like, well, I'm going to get a title shot against Shirai, why would I do that? And she basically says, I need you to do this for me, I need to get myself back on track. And it's like, but you just won tonight. So I don't quite get that. But we're going to get Kai and Gonzalez versus Shirai and Stark next week. It's probably not going to have a finish. It's going to build to the match at TakeOver, which is fine. It's functional. It's whatever. William Regal in the back is still in the parking lot. She's going to have a solution for the Cole and Kyle situation next week because I can't keep them apart. They're going to destroy each other. I hope the police don't press charges, etc., etc., etc. KROSS and BALOR versus Lorcan and Birch. Again, I would tell you about the match. The story is much more important. The first half of the match is KROSS beating the fuck out of Lorcan and Birch. He does a double suplex spot where he basically suplexes both of the tag team champions, which makes the tag team championships look a bit bitchy, I'm not going to lie. But also, pretty sure that they legitimately injured Birch because he's out on the side with the medic for the rest of the match. And it's not a it's not a, you know, let's focus on the medic thing and find out that he's playing possum or whatever. He's out for the rest of the match. So here's hoping that he's not legitimately injured. Here's hoping that this is just something they're going to play off at a later date. I mean, Danny Burch versus Karrion Kross is not a bad singles match, is it? I mean, if Karrion Kross wins the title and he's looking for a first challenger to just chew up and spit out, Danny Burch isn't a bad choice. Second half of the match is BALOR kicking the crap out of Lorcan because it's now a 2-on-1 match for the Tag Team Championships. Match ends when they fight to the outside. There's a sling blade on the floor and he follows up with a shotgun dropkick, except he shotgun dropkicks Oney Lorcan into Scarlett. I mean, that is what it is. She sells it really well. Lorcan sells it really well. BALOR sells, oh shit, what the fuck have I done, really, really well. Kross sort of comes to, because he's been sort of knocked silly on the outside for a second. He loses it. He grabs, the match is over as far as he's concerned. Grabs BALOR by the throat, takes him to the, whatever we're calling that chainmail and plexi wall that's around the ring right now, and just basketballs his head off the plexi, and it's a Fury moment, which is really, really good. Throws him back in. Lorcan hits a something. It's irrelevant at this point, and obviously they retain their titles. That's beyond the point. Kross, because he can, goes in there and kills Lorcan again, which is fine. Beats down BALOR, locks him in the cross jacket. Scarlett tells him to stop, which I thought was interesting, and I thought there was going to be a moment of, like, hey, he didn't actually do it, like, Lorcan bumped into me, rah, and then Kross was just going to be this guy that's so enraged that the truth doesn't even bother him. But no, she just, like, sets him up, and then he hits him with the hidden blade. I don't think they've ever actually called it the hidden blade on television, had any of the commentators say it. That's how I've heard it referred to by basically everybody, because I didn't know Killer Kross before he came to NXT, so I'm listening to what other people are saying. So she got him to release the cross jacket so that he could hit him with the hidden blade. And basically, you know, TikTok, everything happens for a reason as we go off the air. Now, bunch of things to touch on here, right? We want to talk about new people. I mean, not necessarily new as in young talent, but new as in new to NXT. We got this Sarai person that's coming in the next little while. I think we're going to get her confirmed to NXT as soon as we get Rhea Ripley making her debut on Raw. I think that's going to be the switch out there. We got LA Knight, who made his debut tonight, and it wasn't firecrackers, it wasn't a big Michael Bay performance for LA Knight, but it's just sort of like, here's what I am, and here's what I do, and here's my character and whatever, and I'm going to almost lose a match to a jobber because somebody ripped my jacket. People are going to hate this comparison, but he's going to be NXT's version of The Miz, and that's fine, because The Miz is a great character and really super underrated in the ring, and even people that I know have said LA Knight's a great character, great guy on the mic, but he's not going to blow you away 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome, brother, in the ring, which is also fine, because you don't always need to do that. So we got Sarai coming, we got LA Knight that made his debut tonight. And as I said before, we got Zoe Stark, who's 4 matches in and already looks fantastic. And a blind person could see that they're strapping the rocket to her back, which is wonderful, which is great. You like to see the company getting behind somebody, and we don't always get to give WWE/NXT this kind of credit. It's nice to see that they've looked at somebody and they've decided from the start, we're going to do everything we can for this person. That's pretty fucking good. And I like watching her in the ring. She's a lot of fun. A lot of the strike, the running knee that she does is really, really good. Kenny Omega could take some lessons, I think. Anyway, next week, before I get myself canceled off of fucking the wrestling universe, next week we got a couple of cool things. We're going to basically find out what Regal's solution is for Kyle and Adam Cole. It's basically going to be they're having a match at TakeOver, and here's the stipulation. We got 2 women's tag matches next. We got Kai and Gonzalez versus Shirai and Stark, and we've got the Robert Stone brand getting a tag team title shot against Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. That doesn't hurt my feelings in the slightest. Now, TakeOver. TakeOver's going to be huge. TakeOver's 2 nights. This is going to completely obliterate the typical TakeOver template that we've always talked about of, like, okay, you're going to get a match for every title and maybe 1 extra match. It's going to totally obliterate that, because you got to fill like a pay-per-view worth of stuff and a Wednesday night episode of NXT worth of stuff as well. But right now, she hasn't signed the document yet, but it's going to be Gonzalez versus Shirai. It's going to be Kyle versus Adam Cole in some kind of match. Ciampa versus Walter. I don't know whether they're going to throw the NXT UK title into that mix or whether it's just going to be an exhibition, but that's something. Escobar versus Devlin. We're going to figure out who the undisputed Cruiserweight champion is. We're going to get BALOR versus KROSS, which we've seen coming a mile away, but that doesn't make it bad, does it? We still have not set a tag team title match. We still have not set up a women's tag team title match. We still have not set up a North American Championship match, and there's a lot of other stuff on the go that could also be happening. You're going to get LA Knight versus Bronson Reed as like the opening match on night 1 of TakeOver, I'm pretty sure, and that doesn't hurt my feelings either. It's all very experimental when you've got a 2-part pay-per-view, and the first part of that pay-per-view is just your weekly episode boosted up a notch or two. I've said for a while now, and I'll say it again here, they're almost going to be out of the Thunderdome, as I understand it. After WrestleMania, they have to find a different place to Thunderdome. So if they do this takeover in the Thunderdome, that won't hurt my feelings. I mean, they could do it in the CWC. I like the CWC. I hope they keep the CWC going even after they get live crowds back, even after the world sort of gets back to normal. But if they want to give it just a little bit of a different feel, like, you know, we go from the Thunderdome to Raymond James for WrestleMania, you could take this particular takeover and put it in the Thunderdome. Everything goes up a level. It's like Mario getting a mushroom. It's fine. There's a lot of good shit here. And I know I say that every week, but tell me I'm wrong. Like, just try to tell me that I'm wrong. Anyways, I'm exhausted, and I'm running out of steam, and you can probably tell that because, yeah, I sound a bit retarded right now. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.